here at the Tremec Transmissions booth. I'm here with Jim, and he's going to tell me about some of the transmissions here. What are we looking at right here, Jim?
Hi, this is a Magnum. This is specifically for the late model Mustangs. You can see it's got a very long extension housing on it. The reason for that is to get the shifter in the correct position so it comes right up to the console.
Okay.
So this is for a high performance vehicle. It's got a blow-proof bell housing, scatter shield, some may call it. 6-speed, very similar to what you get in OE application. But for the aftermarket, we do a few things a little bit differently. This transmission here is also another Magnum. As you can see on this transmission, we have a shifter with flexibility that can be mounted in the rear position or it can rotate 180 degrees. The shifter could be located here, or for some applications, maybe for a pickup application, you could actually move the shifter forward to get the shifter in the correct location in the vehicle.
Okay.
So a lot of flexibility in the aftermarket. We have a mechanical speedo pickup. We also have an electronic speedo pickup. So if you had an electronic dash, maybe a decoded digital, something like that, you could use electronic, or old school mechanical cable drive. Okay. Again, 6-speed, features a double overdrive. A lot of guys want to be able to drop the RPMs down for cruising speed.
Yeah.
It gives you a real wide range. Work out great in many applications.
Okay, so this is 6 gears.
Yep.
Do you have a choice between the overdrive or no?
There's a couple different ratios available. You can get it as low as a 0.50 overdrive, so that's obviously half of the reduction of a normal 4-speed transmission that a lot of muscle cars came with. So you can really drop the RPMs down and make it a pleasure to drive.
Right.
And save a little bit of gas in doing so.
Yeah, I had a 2000 Trans Am with an LS1 and I think this 6-speed transmission in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that would have been, back then, it would have been called the T-56.
Yeah.
Since that time, we've evolved it. We now call it, in a production term, we call it a TR6060, or again, in the aftermarket, we call it the Magnum. Essentially the same transmission, but we've upgraded the synchronizer packages, shift rail, trying to make it a smoother shifting transmission, increase the torque capacity. It's now rated at 700 foot-pound of torque. So obviously with the newer engines, the LS engines and so forth, generating a lot more power, we got to be able to stand up to that torque. So that's what we've done.
Gotcha.
Makes it a pleasure to drive.
So what separates, how is this transmission different than that one right there? That's just a beefier unit? Is it the same gear ratios?
Well, the transmission itself is essentially the same. If you look at the main case, virtually identical. The primary difference again is transmission over there is specifically for a Mustang only, so the shifter is way back here, which just again for location. So we made a very long extension housing to get the shifter in the correct position.
Gotcha.
And this again is designed more flexible for many different vehicles with different shifter locations.
Okay. So XL literally just refers to the length of the unit, not the strength of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I thought that meant like heavy duty or something.
Yep. Well, extra long.
Extra long, yeah.
Yeah, extra long.
Okay. So moving on here, we have a T5. Is that what this is?
This is a Tkx.
Tkx.
This is a brand new transmission, kind of based originally off the TKO, which was very popular for many years. Originally, the TKO was introduced back in 2005. And again, we did a lot of upgrades now. The TKO was a top-load design, so we built the transmission from the top. And some of the concerns or issues with the TKO was much wider and it interfered in a lot of installations that wouldn't fit in the tunnel. So we completely redesigned the transmission, made an end-load design. We really tapered the case down. Still the same center distance on the main shaft and the counter shaft. So we retained the torque capacity, 600 foot-pound like the old TKO, but a much smaller package. So it fit in a lot of applications now. And while doing that, we also upgraded the Synchronizer System, very similar to the 6-speed. So it's got a triple cone design, so you can shift this at higher RPMs now. 7,500 RPMs, no problem at all.
Okay.
We made some improvements on the shift rail system, so it shifts very smooth. And much like the 6-speed we just looked at, this also has reversible shifter, so you can rotate this 180 degrees, put the shifter in this location, or you can also put a shifter up front. A lot of guys, the car right over here, 56 Chevy, that has a TKO in it. To get the mid-shift to fit in the console correctly and be in a forward location.
Cool. All right. So So this is an upgraded version of this transmission then, or?
Well, this is an upgraded of the old TKO.
Yeah.
Over here we have a T5.
Oh, okay, TKO, okay.
Yep.
Oh, it's different, yeah. All right. And then how about this one then?
So this is a T5. Again, this is a very compact design.
Yeah.
The torque rating on this is only up to about 300 foot-pound of torque. So in some applications, a lot of street riders would use this because it's, again, very small. And as long as you don't have a real high-powered V8, it works just fine. Great shifting transmission.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as much flexibility as the other transmissions we looked at. It comes with a shifter in one location. But there are companies that do some offset shifters and things to make it a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
But it's kind of limited to some extent with one location of shifter. And only a mechanical speedo pickup. It doesn't feature both electronic and mechanical. Great transmission if real estate's at a premium, and high horsepower torque is not really an issue in this.
Yeah.
And obviously price point wise, this is a nice attractive unit as well.
I think from what I remember hearing back in the day, that the failure on these was actually the case. Is that true? It's not the teeth?
Yeah, what would happen really, I call it the jump rope effect. If you look at the shafts, third gear, it tends to separate a little bit. So you've got the furthest point out, kind of like a jump rope. So as you're spinning up, put a lot of power behind it, they want to separate a little bit. And the case would somewhat stretch, I guess, if you will, under severe torque.
Yeah.
And so when they split like that a little bit, then you wipe out gearing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the limiting factor, obviously, of this transmission. And you can see by the face width of the gearing compared to the others, and also the center distance. So this is only 75 millimeter between the main shaft and the counter shaft. So the diameter of the gearing is much smaller compared to the other units we looked at.
Yeah.
The Tkx is 83 millimeter, again larger, and the Magnums are 85.
So yeah, can you show me on here what is larger on here?
Sure. So if you look at the distance between the main shaft and the counter shaft, you can allow the gearing to get bigger. The diameter of the donut, if you will, gets larger, so thus increases the torque capacity.
Yeah.
And the face width also, obviously, when you look at them, you can very easy to detect the difference, how much wider the face of these gears are.
Okay. Have there been any modifications to the Synchro teeth over the years and how they're machined onto the gears themselves? I think
yes.
I heard something about a laser being used.
Yeah, actually that's on the Magnum seal.
Okay.
So if you look at these are the clutching teeth on here, and this is now a two-piece gear design. So historically under the old T-56, that was one piece, and it was actually forged that way. Now we actually do a very precise machining on this, the clutch teeth, the gear themselves, and then we laser beam weld it to the drive gears.
Okay.
So it makes a much better, more precise shift feel.
Yeah.
We're able to hold tolerances much better than we could before.
Okay, and then I think that equates to more surface area too. There's no just kind of space in here that's not being used.
Well, we end up, the slider here, we made them slightly thinner, so that allowed us more room, so we were able to increase the face width of the gearing to increase torque capacity as well.
Okay.
So it shortens up the shift throw, and the detents made it much smoother. They're a ball bearing style versus the old T-56 was a stamp strut, kind of a hoop style retention, so not nearly as smooth as what we have now.
Okay. Can we go through the gears once and show me which set is first, second, third, fourth, and so on? So,
sure.
Yeah.
You got first gear here. Bud's going to shift.
So first is which two gears? Is it literally the first two ones, or?
No. This is actually direct. So the power.
Oh, that's the cluster, the lay shaft. Okay.
Yeah. So the input shaft comes in and then feeds the counter shaft. A little bit hard to see on this unit with it cut away on this side. But so the power comes in and goes down through the counter shaft. All the gears are always in mesh, but it depends on which gear we select.
Yeah.
So now we've got first gear. And if you want to shift it to second, so we just engage second gear here now, and we can go third gear. So we move into third. And then fourth is a direct gear. So
yeah,
now,
so show me, what is fourth? Fourth just locks this whole thing? Or?
Yes, fourth now locks the input shaft to the main shaft all the way out.
Okay.
So
it's actually no gear. It's just,
right.
It's a gear ratio, but it's not a, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we've locked it in.
Is that the strongest then? Is fourth gear the strongest because there's, no? Okay.
Not necessarily,
no?
I guess. But yeah, it is a direct direct fitment. So
Yeah. Okay, so getting into the overdrives then.
yeah, the overdrive's in the back.
Now we're going the other way. We're going
Yeah, well, we're still
going
going
faster, right?
Yeah, going much faster now when we're in 5th gear, and then in 6th gear even faster because it's a double overdrive.
Right. And then reverse is.
Reverse, we actually have an electronic cylinder down here, so it's on the display model very difficult to get it in reverse because we need to put
really
12 volts
power.
of power. But Bud's pretty strong, so he can actually overpower it and put it in reverse. And I can't even hardly turn it now, but that's reverse.
Okay, and reverse is not just the straight cut gear then, it also has
Yes, it's a
helical gear. Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. All right, that's all the questions I can think of. Thank you for showing me this, Jim.
All right.
Yeah, well, a couple other questions actually. The transmission in the new C8 Vet, is that made by this company as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Dual clutch transmission.
Yeah,
Electronically controlled.
Same with the one in the Mustang, I think.
Yes. Yep.
Will those ever be available to the public?
Well, that's we'll have to wait and talk
You
about
have to
that
wait?
later.
Okay, yeah. That's obviously not just a simple plug and play though. If you did want to adapt one of those to your car, you'd have to have some sophisticated computer running those
the
babies.
interface between the engine and the transmission, they have to talk to each other, and that's pretty complicated.
Right, okay. Well, that's a whole new world of stuff, those dog pan transmissions. So I really hope to start seeing those in cars like these.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. All right, thanks again.
All right.
Yep.
See you again.